On a day when we are dealing with not just the news that we're in the deepest recession in history, the deepest of any G7 economy as a result of the coronavirus pandemic and the subsequent lockdown, when we've got hundreds of thousands of students facing having exam grades that don't remotely represent what they have actually achieved in their school days or what they could have got in exams. When we've got the best part of 750,000 job losses announced yesterday since the lockdown for the whole of Britain, all of this going on. We've also got the migrant crossing crisis with 600 migrants. We don't know who they are, but in the last few days have made the crossing from France to the UK. All these things going on. Ben & Jerry's have decided to get in on the act. Ben & Jerry's, who are they? They make ice cream. Personally, not a big fan of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, even less of a fan after their woke posturing on Twitter, though. They tweeted to the Home Secretary, "Hey, Priti Patel," they began a thread of messages. "We think the real crisis is our lack of humanity for people fleeing war, climate change and torture." And they ended a whole thread all about how basically we shouldn't really have border controls and we should absolutely welcome anyone who wants to come to our shores. And it says, "Let's remember, we're all human and have the same rights to life, regardless of the country we happen to have been born in. And once more for the back, people cannot be illegal." Now, I've no idea why Ben & Jerry's thought that it was worth getting involved in this sort of woke virtue signalling. I'm fascinated to know what Haagen-Dazs make of it. Goodness knows what Mr. Whippy makes of it all. My guess is Mr. Whippy's pretty solid on border controls, but who knows? What I mostly want, though, is for manufacturers of whatever it is, whether it's soap powder, and they are owned by Unilever, by the way, or ice cream or whatever, whether they sell me clothes, or whether they sell me anything at all. Could you just do the job that we've paid you to do and keep your nose out of our politics? We're not interested in what Ben and or Jerry think about our border policies. We'll decide that. We, the voters of the UK, will elect a government, now we're out of the EU, to represent our majority views on this issue. And frankly, what someone who makes ice cream thinks of it is neither here nor there. You can signal your virtue as much as you want, but we really don't care what you think. But you really might care when we decide to not buy your products anymore because we're fed up with the finger wagging and the virtue selling of these woke companies that aren't really woke at all. They don't pay much tax and they don't necessarily treat their own workers in many parts of the world very well. But they're telling us what we should do and whether we are good people or bad people. Frankly, we've had enough. And it'll be Mr. Whippy for me from now on.